Thank you for watching the French Workbench podcast. You can find us here. And what's going on, everybody? This is Dan French here. You guys, we're trying to get everything situated in here, and this is the French Workbench podcast. What's going on, everybody? This is Tuesday, and you know what it is. You know what time it is. It's the Tuesday Taco Day, right? Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesdays, baby.
Most real and behind-the-scenes information, financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs going on here in Las Vegas. I'm your host, Dan French. Streaming live. That's just some juice that we have, some prune juice, and Joey's got over here. What's going on, Joey Andron?
Not much, Daniel.
Anything happening in your life, buddy?
Yeah, feeling good, man. Feeling really, really good. Kids are back in school. They're loving it, and we're enjoying the time off in the mornings and the afternoons.
Dude, so what is it like to have your kids go back? Do you feel like there's less pressure, or is there more pressure because your kids going to school? Do you pick them up?
No, my wife takes care of that. So pretty fortunate, yeah.
Nice. So let's go over here to Esmeralda. Esmeralda,
That's
how
it.
are you? Yeah,
I'm good.
I was gonna say, Joey, what's going on? But you're like, well, it's just about the kids. So I said, okay, it's all about the kids.
I guess it wasn't a fun topic. He just moved on.
We're losing followers right now.
So what's going on, Esmeralda? What's going on? How you been?
I've been great. Things are good. Yeah.
Anything new in your life?
Hey, I'm busy right now.
Are you killing it?
I wouldn't say killing it, but I'm doing good.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Dude, the weather's starting to get a little bit better. It was a lot of monsoon going on, a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Right?
I like the rain.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know who that familiar voice is, he's got that soothing voice over here, Mr. Zachary Martinez, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing?
You ever go to the library and things like that? You know what I'm talking about? The strip clubs. You hear those voices and they're soothing.
That library.
Yeah, that library. It's like that soothing voice. ISIS, ladies and gentlemen. ISIS.
Yeah, the DJ.
Yeah,
Everybody,
man.
give a warm welcome to Dan French coming to the stage.
Dude, you actually got a good voice for that, man. I'm telling you.
Think so?
What have you been up to?
Nothing. Just staying busy.
Yeah, nothing new.
Nope, not at all. I'm just kidding.
Dude, you're
Just the
closing,
same old, man.
You're closing deals. I see you doing a lot of volume over there. Joey's his tutelage that he's over there. He's like the boiler room over there. He's just got people hammering calls, right? So is that what's going on with you?
I mean, try my best. I don't want to get put 6 feet under by this guy over here. So just doing what I can, staying busy.
Joey's pulling out the whip, man. He's like,
You gotta crack it sometimes, you know what I'm
dude,
saying?
Wolf of Wall Street. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. I feel that's what's going on over there. It's like, hey, man, buy a house or get off my lawn. You know, right?
Get off my lawn. Yep. No, that's exactly how it is. Verbatim.
It is,
Yeah.
right? Dude, so talk to me, man. What's going on in your world? Like anything new? You going out to clubs? Like what is going on? Because we're all talking about kids and everybody's got kids. So that's not really fun right now.
I thought you were going to call me a kid. I was like, what's going on?
Man. No. I mean, are you dating anybody like ISIS or anything?
No. Thank you very much. Actually, I've kind of strayed away from going out doing all that crazy stuff. Just trying to, focus on growing and building my business. So it's kind of a big thing. And the gym. Bam.
Oh man, look at those pythons.
These
Jesus.
pythons.
So what gym do you go to?
LVAC. Just
Okay.
off of Eastern and 215, so right down the street.
Dude, that's a crazy busy gym. Do you go to the gym?
We have a home gym now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
He's cooler than us, that's why.
Well, I mean, when you're bringing in the big bucks. No, I'm just playing. So what's going on, man? You go out and you work out and what do you do? Your wife does that too?
Yeah. So my wife's a personal trainer, so we converted the
Really?
garage. Yeah, so we converted the garage into a full-blown
that.
gym. And something exciting actually happened today. We got an AC unit for the garage. So got a 2-ton unit installed, blowing cool air in the garage.
Oh,
Wow.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So you know what's weird is for me, we got a gym, but it's a good gym, but it's I never go out there. I have to go somewhere because I'm just not
Discipline.
I'm looking at it and it's like, man, I don't know if I want to do it. It's like, yeah, but then you got something in the refrigerator out there, so it's kind of hard, you know. So, and then, dude, going to paying $10, right? If you pay $10 a month, that's just not going to do it. I got to do 50 minimum, or else I won't go because it's like I have to justify.
What is it? Life Gym is like 100 and.
Well, I won't go that crazy, but I got to do like 50 because it's like, okay, I spent $50 a month on this. You know what I mean? Like I have to go. If it's $10, I'm like, shit.
You want to pay for mine?
What's that?
I said you want to pay for mine then.
What is your cost?
Like 25. So half and half. Pay for mine. Pay
See,
for
I don't
yours,
know, man.
that's
I don't think I would go.
I pay 10
See,
and I
that's
go to
the
the same
problem.
gym.
Okay, yeah, that's not
You need
bad.
to renegotiate your contract.
I guess so. I don't know.
So let me say this. So you go to the gym, Esmeralda? How often do you go to the gym?
Not often.
No. Do you guys think?
You know why though? Because I don't live close by it no more. So I live far now. So I would either have to do it after work, and to be quite honest, I'm a morning person, so I get up early and I like to.
How early?
I get up at 5:30 every day.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I do my walks, I do my sit-ups, I do a few things early.
You know, it's so funny because I always think of this. We're talking about the gym. So my girl, she wants to get up and go to the gym, you know, and it's like she has these motivational things, dude. It's like, get up, you need to crack it, you know what I mean? You need to go at it, like, you know what I mean? It's like only the weak won't, you know, will not make it, you know. And every time, dude, I hear that, she turns over and hits the button and goes right back to sleep. It's just like, yes. You know what I mean? But I mean, the thing is so funny because when I'm looking, like, I feel like I need to get up too, but I just turn around. It's like, I don't know what it is, but motivational speaking, you got to spend the money.
You got to mentally prepare the night before. So you know that you're going to set your internal clock the night before and say, look, I'm going to wake up at 5:30 or I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to do these things. I have to go exercise and work out. I mean, for me, if I do that the night before, I'm already prepped. And as soon as my alarm goes off, I'm up and out.
Do you guys think Vegas is like more of a, I mean, I guess a lot of cities are, but they're really cautious about their looks. Like, I mean, their weight.
I think your health is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, is it more important here? I mean, look, let's talk about it. You know, people know the Midwest. Sometimes it's overlooked, but we're not going to get into that. But I'm just saying.
It's not Miami, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, just sometimes, you know, I mean, but do you guys think, I feel like Vegas is a little bit more cautious about their appearance. You know, there's a lot of health nutrition stores. A lot of people work out. They, you know, the team, check it. Everybody works out. Everybody's dedicated. I don't know. Maybe it's part of.
I think for me, it's a lifestyle. I think it's important to be active, and being active, whether it's the gym or doing some kind of social activity of something, it's better than nothing.
Right.
And and you have to create discipline. For me, I'm just very proactive with goals. If I have a goal, I'm meeting it. I don't care what happens. I don't push the snooze button. I'm like, I don't have a reason to, so I'm like, I hear it and I just get up.
Yeah. And it's so great waking up early in the morning. Think about how much more you have, like how many more hours in the day. So it's
So you're a workout person in the morning.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I cycle. So I get up at 5.
That makes
Go
sense.
ride, get back at like 6:30, 7 o'clock.
'Cause
Get
it's
ready
hot,
for the day.
too. Yeah, and it's hot.
That makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about why we're all here, right? It's all about the real estate market. It's all about builders. Rest in peace, right? Rest in peace, lenders. You know, everybody's getting laid off.
Really?
And well, a lot of people are, not everybody, but let's just really dive into this. So, you know, we've talked a lot about this to nauseum about what's happening with the housing market. Do you guys feel that builders are pretty much done at this point? Like they're not building. There's no, the starts, housing starts, the permits, they're slowing down completely. They're stuck with housing inventory. And they're selling it on pennies on the dollar, right, to everybody, or not, I wouldn't say pennies on the dollar, but huge discounts,
Are
right?
they? I need to start.
Yeah,
looking
huge
this way.
discounts. And what do you guys think? I mean, do you guys think that builders are going to, like, because look, rates, until they get, my thing is this, I think if rates get below 4%, then maybe we'll start to see a market for builders again, but we're, you know, 10,000 plus homes on the market. What are your thoughts on builders right now, their position?
I mean, they're just trying to liquidate inventory. So they're offering the incentives, the closing cost incentives. You know, they're doing what they can to move inventory. But I mean, I think once all that inventory gets absorbed, I don't think they're going to stop development. I mean, if you drive out to east side of Henderson by Cadence, they're still grading all that land. They haven't stopped. So they're still, you know, forward thinking.
But is it, and not to combat, but is it money that they've already allocated to that? Like these
Probably.
new projects and these materials and stuff. That's the only thing I'm thinking is like, okay, we might be good for another couple months or they might build to the end of the year. But if they don't have things picking up right now, they had a decline 24% in June. So for builders, I mean, maybe you can add to that. I mean, what do you feel with builders right now?
I'm kind of on the same side with Joey, just because, I mean, everything's just been so recent, right? It really hasn't had a lot of time to, marinate. And we're getting emails every day from all these builders and standing inventory. But what happens when all that's gone? I mean, we had a ton of cancellations. I mean, we had some on the team too. What happens when all those are sold and closed, right? I mean, of course, there's still some demand. I mean, I'd say there's a pretty good amount of demand, not compared to, 2-3 months ago. But I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see.
Well, home buyer confidence, right, or home builder confidence index, which I don't really know what that measures. I mean, I guess it's just confidence with builders, but it's down. I mean, it hasn't been this low since the pandemic. So I'm just looking at it going, builders have positions where they have to make decisions on selling what they have and do they continue to keep moving forward and building. I feel that rates and, I mean, look, let's go back over here. I want to bring something up. Let's just bring this part of it up where, so this is all of down to 2006, right? And you could see this price point, which is the highest it's ever been, where this is our peak right here. This was this year, 480,000. We haven't been that high ever. I mean, this is back to when we saw, the crash, right? Or the 2002 to 2005. And you got rates above 5, you got all-time highs. And then you look at this is the chart for rates, right? This is a 30-year fixed rate. This is going all the way back. I'm looking at it going, okay, when was the last time that we actually saw rates even close to where we're at now? And that's back in November 8th of 2018. Mm-hmm. So that is a psychological effect it has on people where they're looking at this going, man, that's just crazy times at the time. I want to bring up one other thing, and you guys will probably like look at this, but look at new listings. Look at this up and down situation we have here year over year.
Is that your heartbeat?
That's my heartbeat. That's what's happening right now. But look at this, man. We got huge drops, right? You got huge drops in here. Then it comes back. I mean, look at this. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, this, and then look at this huge spike. So this is a pattern we see. Mm-hmm. You see that. You see where rates are at. Like I said, way over here.
So where's your support on that?
On this?
Yeah, where's your support line?
There is none because like this is.
I mean, because it looks pretty consistent through 17, 18, 19, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then we ticked up much higher. How much further do you think we have to go before it goes back up?
Well, I feel this. I feel that we've plateaued because I feel that as long as rates stay above 4%, we're going to continue to see
increase
or no decrease in prices.
Well, and so increase in listings though.
Well, listings themselves are going to continue to go up. We saw a little settling off.
You're on listings. I didn't see that.
Listings.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so listings are one thing, but here's the thing about it. I feel that we've started to plateau on the listing part of it because I think that buyers and sellers are looking at it going, well, we missed the boat, right? Five months ago, you can attest to this. 5 months ago, you had people, you're listing homes right now, and they're thinking it's $40,000, $50,000 more. Now sellers know they can't get what they want for homes. Tell me your experience on that.
I mean, it was just such a big, quick change, right? Just going back to the builders, man. And I had one builder in particular, I won't say any names, but there's this one community that everybody called and
Taylor
everybody
Morrison? I'm just playing.
No. Well, anyway, we went from having, huge wait lists. Oh my gosh. Seems like every other person I talked to was like, oh yeah, we want a house here. We want a house here. And then, of course that was the demand, they had a wait list. It was virtually impossible to get into one of those neighborhoods. Whereas now, I mean, all that's kind of gone, right? Now they're emailing us for any buyers that we've got looking in that community. So, I mean, it's just such a big shift. Of course, we're going to see a change,
Yeah, but are these sellers really like, hey, man, I want you to really sell my house, and they're thinking they're going to get this price, even though they've seen such an influx in properties in the market? Because, supply is going to be competition for these people listing their house.
Sure.
What's that conversation that you have? It's like, I mean, does that take place a week later, 2 weeks later? Do you have to let the market kind of dictate that to them? Like, they have to figure out, oh, well, the market's going to dictate what's selling that home, whatever that price is going to be. Right. How does that happen for you?
Well, I think it starts with just educating your people up front, right? Giving them that expectation, like, hey, this is where we're at. I mean, we study, these numbers, these stats all the time. So we should be able to see, all right, this is the direction that we're heading. So I think it's just that initial conversation. And then, when you do have that conversation, let's say you're on the market for a week, 2 weeks with little to no activity, then it's easier to say, hey, we need to make an adjustment rather than just right off the bat, yeah, you know what, we'll list at whatever and go from there. You could have done that maybe a few months ago, and then the market catches up to that price because we're appreciating so much, but now you kind of have to prepare your people, right? I mean, I think that's the smart way to go about it.
What about you, Joey?
In regards to listings?
Yeah, like what is the conversations you have? I mean, because I think people out there are looking at maybe using you guys as real estate agents and like, okay, well, if I use this person, what is the position that you're in mentally and how you deal with these clients or these sellers?
Well, I mean, this whole market is changing day by day, right? So we're just looking at, within a 2-mile radius of what's going on with that certain area and subdivision. I'm taking a listing on Monday and looking at what the real market value is for that property. It's just over $1 million. But this conversation started about 2 weeks ago, and actually about 3 weeks ago, and now looking at the numbers, we agreed to list at $929 just to be competitive and sell the property. So there's a big difference in pricing, right? About $80,000 in pricing.
Is that that's a part though, that $900,000, is that like really a tough position for buyers? Like I saw something where it said that in that sector that those buyers, and I think somebody came on the show, another podcast we do, but said that, these people are offered like $50,000, $60,000 less because it was just sitting there for a long period of time. They said, I don't want to wait on it. So is that kind of what?
Yeah, similar situation. So I had these particular clients, I just sold them a house and now they're going to list their old house, right, for sale. So they don't want to carry 2 mortgages. So we're going to do whatever it takes in order to get it sold. So we're trying to price it aggressively. But I mean, today, I just put a house under contract. It's been on the market for 6 days, and we offered $45,000 less than list price, and we're in contract. And my clients haven't even seen it. We didn't even tour the property. We threw it out there just to see if we could get it under contract.
Wow.
And they just executed it.
Isn't that crazy? Like you just didn't know, and you're just like, let's just shoot for it. Let's just do it and see what happens.
And this always goes back to this, and I know I say this a lot.
Yeah.
On your show, on Chuck's podcast. This market, it's one of those times where like most buyers are like, oh man, I wish I would have purchased a home in 2018. Like 2018 or 2012, like when the market crashed. Like I wish I would have purchased a house. We're never going to reach those levels again, but these are the type of markets to when you do want to purchase because you can throw out crazy offers like that, right? So like on the MLS, it will generate for us the range of what the property is valued at, and then it will give us a score for the median in between. And it'll say on a scale from 1 to 100, and if it's like 80 or 90, you're pretty on target for that house.
For the listing part of it.
Right. For the value of that property.
For the value of the property.
Right.
Okay.
And we're looking and we're throwing in offers, $30,000, $40,000 below that, right? So you're getting like a lot of value, right? So you're walking into an equity position in most times. I mean, and we had this conversation last time I was on your show. I just put a house under contract for $825. It sold for $925 not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So what did they flip it?
No, it was a resale. It was a model home. These people purchased it.
I see.
They put it back on the market, and my clients purchased it. We threw out an offer. We negotiated, but we finally settled at $825, and they accepted it. So
I'm seeing 2 builders, and you guys can maybe talk about this, is that they, as the prices come down, are they sending addendums to lower the price? Because look, there's a benefit when you're going up where you're getting equity in a house. You had equity when you bought your home. There's others that had it. So that's not happening. So now they're in contract. Are they just willing to say, hey, you know what? Market's going down. We have to write that addendum because it's not going to meet the appraisal, right? I mean, is that a concern at this point?
No? I haven't come across that.
How about you?
I haven't either.
No?
No.
So, okay, let's talk a little bit about, is this a buyer's market? Because I think a lot of people out there are thinking that, I even said, I think the buyer's market's going to be, November, December. We're going to start to see a buyer's market full swing, right? I think it just really accelerated. I think it's gone so fast, and these prices of homes have come down so quick, and we've had such a huge inventory increase in a couple months with rates. So tell me what buyers are really benefiting from out there in the markets right now. You can tell me too, like are buyers right now, they pretty much can get what they want?
Well, I would say you can definitely get a better deal. I wouldn't say, you get what you want, right? Like you're not going to go into a house that's listed for 500, offer 300, right? I mean, that's just not realistic. But, you're not having to come into a deal and worry about paying 20,000, 30,000 above appraisal anymore, right? On top of that, we're getting a lot of incentives. So builders, they're offering to pay, for closing costs. They're offering to buy down your rate. And then sellers are doing that too. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of these resale homes in the remarks. They're offering to pay $7,500 towards closing costs or, stuff like that. So that's coming a lot more common. And I like to think of it that we can shop around more, whereas, a lot of people were submitting offers sight unseen. Well, we don't have to do that anymore. I mean, of course, you don't want to wait and, let something get snatched up. But I think you're in a market where you can shop around a bit more.
What about you, Joey? You think the same? I mean, because I think it's like the mindset is just flipped like 360 degrees where sellers, dude, builders didn't want to help you guys out.
No.
I mean, it was a flat
not.
fee and you guys were like out there
gosh.
struggling and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the truth. I mean, so now you're looking at it going, okay, now the buyers are like, okay, it's power position here, right?
Well, that's what I've been saying. I've been calling the buyer's market since last month. Since rates started going up, I was already saying this is the buyer's market. Like it's time to start acting now. If you've been on the sidelines, if you were priced out of the market, if you just didn't have that capital to get involved for the past 2 years, now's the time. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity, right? It's always going to be case by case, right? You're not going to get, $100,000 off on every single property, right? We're looking at like 20, 25% on average, maybe 30, depending on the type of property. Right, so it just really depends. Like the house we have, I have under contract at Mesa Ridge, is model home. We had a bid on that.
Really? You still had a bid?
We still had it was a blind bid, and we got that property because we were the highest bid.
Right.
But on the lower end, I wouldn't say lower end. It's 7, 5, 6, 7, 800,000. I mean, you still have $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to play with, but. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity, right? And sellers are contributing towards closing costs or to buy down the rate. So
yeah, that was a market we didn't see before, right?
Oh
I mean,
my gosh.
the closing costs,
we
down
haven't seen
payment
that
assistance, ever, right? I mean, not for a while.
Yeah, for a while.
It's been at least 3 years. Like, when's the last time you saw a buyer that needed closing costs by the seller? Is it?
Well, okay. When's the last time I've seen that? I've seen quite a bit, but when was
Really?
the last time we've actually gotten that and it was realistic to talk about it? Yeah, it's been a while. I remember people coming to me like, yeah, you know what? Can we offer for them to pay closing costs? And in my head, I'd think no, no chance, no shot. But yeah, this deal that I just got under contract last week, I told my client, I'm like, you know what? Let's go in at this price. We asked for, I believe, 5,000 closing costs. No counters or anything. Oh my gosh, my voice just cracked. No counters, no nothing.
Say ISIS 5 times.
No. Yeah, no. Anyway, completely lost track. No. But yeah, it's, with closing costs, it's definitely in the picture now. And I think that's great because some people need it. Some people, like Joey said, they were priced out. They couldn't compete. But I think it's a lot more realistic for them to come and participate now.
Yeah, we always talk about the interest rates too, right? Like, the interest rates, that's what's killing the market. But, you're dating the interest rate, right? They use that term. Like, you're dating the interest rate. You get the great deal up front, get the house below market value or below the comps in the neighborhood. And if it's not a flip, who cares?
Yeah.
Right? If you're not going to sell it in, 6, 12 months, if you're going to be there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, what does the interest rate matter?
What does it matter? Right. I think it's just the psychological thing. Like, people are so accustomed to having a 3%, 3.5% rate. Like, I talked to a lot of people about it, and it's like, okay, maybe if it was just the rate, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad time to buy a house. I think everybody's in a different position. I'm just saying it was a perfect storm because you had low inventory, you had rates rise up, and then you also had no inventory to buy a house, right? And then also you look at it and you're like, okay, well, there's competition. And then you look at the prices of homes and they were like, 500,000. I think that's where people started to say, well, it's just too much. Like, if it was just rate, but you're absolutely right, Joey, because if you look at the rate itself, I know so many people that refinance out of that rate, lower their payment, right? They get into something different. And I think that's what people don't understand is that maybe if you get into a house and you refi down the road, but the thing is you have to bank on the fact that rates are going to come lower. I mean, do you feel confident that that's going to happen though?
I mean, everything, it's cyclical, right? Things go up, they come down. the housing market, it's never like a linear. It's never, I mean, you have the ebbs and flows of the market.
Right.
So
what do you think the rates are going to come down? Because like right now they've been sitting at 5, and I've been hearing that probably for the next year or at the end of the year, maybe even to 2023, we're probably going to still have higher rates more than 5%. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll come down. I mean, like Joey said, it's cyclical. You gotta. It's never going to stay at this forever, right? I mean, it'll go up or it'll come down.
I mean,
the question's when.
Yeah, what was the real reason why they raised rates?
Well, I mean, it was artificially, the government was artificially buying bonds, right? The other thing is that within inflation, as inflation went up, the Fed's fund rate went up, right? Which doesn't directly impact long-term bonds, but there's geopolitical news, there's employment, there's all kinds of things. I think overall, when you take away what was feeding the beast, which was the Fed, then I think that's when you're saying, okay, well, rates are going to have to go up. We're going to hit a normal market or more of a normal market. The problem is you're combating it with highest prices of homes, well, just here in Las Vegas, really across the country. And then you look at that and it's like, okay, well, yeah, we're at 5. I mean, we haven't been at 5. I don't even think we creeped over 5 on this one. Even in 2018, it was like 4.9. And then you have the higher costs in housing. I think if it was like, hey, you know what, houses are, 250, 300, and you still had a 5% rate, I don't think that would have slowed the market down. I think it happened where, like I said, it was a perfect storm where there's low inventory, higher price homes, right? And then higher rates all at the same time. And I think that's really what's contributed to why everybody started to say, okay, wait a second, I need to settle down here, right? And I think that's what's helped slow down this market. And then builders too. Builders were really setting the market. They were the ones kind of like, okay, if you put out whatever they put out, they're going to get it. Mm-hmm. They were getting it. I'm not saying it's a bad time to buy. I'm just saying people have different objectives and different thoughts now because of what's happened. And now this is the aftermath. We're starting to say, okay, is this going to settle off? Is it going to level off? Are things going to start to kind of become this? Is this the new normal, right? Mm-hmm. Is this the new thing that we can count on, that prices of homes are probably going to hover, the median price home's going to hover right around 450? And our rate's going to come down, 5%, maybe even 4.5%. Build that confidence in people. And I think that's what's going to drive this market. But I'm going to tell you, man, right now, there's a lot of people that in the mortgage industry, not across employment, they've been laid off. We have builders. They still have people working, but it's because they had inventory already they've been working on. There's already materials and stuff and now it gives them time to complete these tasks and these properties. But I mean, again, I think builders kind of set the market, and now they really don't know what to do at this point. But yet, I think buyers are there, and it's a buyer's market. But again, I don't know how much motivation do these buyers really have with the rates? Now, would they have more motivation if we got to 4%? I think we would, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but you have to look at the bigger picture, in my opinion, right? You have to look at the price, the cost of the house as well. What happened? 60, 90, 120 days ago when people were really in the frenzy trying to, race against the clock, so to speak, about these interest rates, right? The word was out that the rates were going up. So people got even crazier to, do whatever.
That short window, right? It's a short window, just like for the housing market. It's like just selling. Same with sellers. Like, okay, and you talked to me about this too. You were like, hey, you know what? Man, I got listings. I would have got them what they wanted if it was, February, March. Now it's, July, August. They missed the boat. Now, it doesn't mean you can't still get what you want, but
you got to be more realistic.
Yeah, how long does that take for psychologically people to go, okay, you know what? I'm not going to get what I wanted, but I'm still okay to settle for a little bit less. And I think you're seeing the numbers here where a lot of people that were interested in selling or wanted to sell at the peak now are just like, hey, maybe we'll just hold off. Because now they're not getting. Everybody wants to sell at the lowest and buy at the, and you know what I mean.
But at the
or
same,
sell at the highest, and buy at the
way
lowest.
around, man.
Yeah, sell at the highest, buy at the lowest, right?
At the same time, right? So people that are listing their homes, right? Like the couple of houses that I have under contract, they're just like, let's go. That's a good offer. I'm going to take it. Let's roll. So they're still in an equity position because the equity has gone up.
Though? Like, look, I love people like that because they're decisive. Mm-hmm. But I would say the average American out there is not decisive because this is the biggest investment they make in their lifetime. So it's like, should I or shouldn't I? I'm in, I'm out. I'm in, I'm out. I'm in. Where you have people that are like, look, man, I'll make that money up somewhere else. I'm decisive. I know what I want. Let's go after it.
Well,
right?
I think more people are becoming like that because I have 3 offers out there right now, 2 under contract and another offer that is way below list. and the sellers are motivated. They're like, let's make a deal. Like, let's make this work. So they've already had enough equity built up, a substantial amount of equity built up in the past 2 years, and even leading up before that. So now it's just, they're just not making as much. They're still making money on their house. They're just not, instead of 300,000, they're gonna make 190, 195, 200,000. You know what I mean?
What do you think the biggest fear is out there for people buying in today's market? And then we'll talk about what's the biggest fear that people have maybe selling in this market, right? Or I don't know if it's a fear, but what is that position? So what's the biggest fear for buyers out there right now that you've been dealing with, both of you guys?
People think the market's still gonna go down.
That's it.
That's it. People are like, well, I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what happens in after the first of the year. I'm going to see what happens after the election. It's like another president's going to be in place. That's what's going to happen. It's either you want to buy a house, you want to get a good deal, or you want to sit on the sideline and just sit there and twiddle your thumbs and wait and wait and wait, and then potentially be priced out or not get the home that you want. Because what happens is all of these incentives, buyer or sellers are motivated to sell. Once all of that is absorbed, which we have a really high absorption rate as is with all the incentives and things like that, because we're constantly getting updated with the builders inventory list, and we're looking what's going on with the resale market. So we do have a high absorption rate. Even though we have a lot of listings hitting the market, we still have a higher absorption rate. Not as much as last year, but we're still on the right track, right? So once all of that stuff goes away and we start leveling off, sellers are less motivated. They don't want to give closing costs. They don't want to be, negotiating back and forth.
It's their world.
It's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to strike when the iron's hot. Get the deal when you can.
What about you? I mean, is that to add on to what he said? Is there other things that you can bring up that maybe some buyers have some hesitation on?
Well, I feel like there's, regardless of what the market's like, if we were to talk about right now, if we were to talk about 2 years ago, 6 years ago, there's always going to be some concern, right? Like when you're buying. Even when rates were super low, what were the objections that we were getting, right? What were people telling us? Of course, paying above appraisal is one question, but I think there's never going to be that perfect situation for someone to say, okay, this is the perfect time. I think a lot of people look back and say, oh, I should have done that then. I should have done that, a year ago. And I think as a professional, we have to do our job and educate our people. And hey, maybe they're not in the right position to make a move. For a lot of people, I believe now is a good position because, all the incentives that, me and Joey were just talking about. I think, you are an opportunity to get a good deal. But again, it's our job to help educate our people. You know what I mean? Do
you ever feel like there's people out there, and it's not to try to go the other direction, but I think the biggest fear that I see too is that it is kind of, what you guys said, right? With some of the things you're talking about. But I also feel that it's the commitment, and also is it the best time when you say buy at the dip or buy low, people are waiting. I think for the average person out there, they're willing to wait because they don't make a lot of money, or they don't have a ton of money in the bank, right? Most people don't. And they're trying to time it to make the maximum profit off of something as big as a house. And so, yes, you're right. Maybe the family or people like that. But I do feel that there's a part of that. There's a blend of it's already overpriced, and I'm just not willing to pay overpriced for a home because it's already high. It's the biggest thing I'm going to buy in my lifetime for most people. So why would I go and commit at this time when I feel that things are shifting and I'll just wait? And I get it what you're saying, but I think that's what people are doing is they're looking at it going, well, we got rates high. This is high. I'm renting. Man, I don't know if I even want to do it. Not because I don't think it's a good investment, but it's a big commitment, right?
Well, if you're in that position and you're asking yourself that question, are you looking to, purchase as an investment, or are you looking for a place to live, right? Like, I guess there's two pieces of the puzzle there. If you need a place to live, then, I guess if you're comfortable with your payment, if you're okay with where you're living, then, why wouldn't you? But if you're looking for an investment, I guess that's kind of a different question. You got to not look at it as, oh, you have that sentimental value to it, right? So I don't know. Again, like I said earlier, I think it's just your position. It's all positional,
Yeah, when you say time the market, like the buyers are trying to time the market, you can never time the market perfectly, right? So obviously,
what about trends? And I get what you're saying because I agree. But okay, so there's a trend for rates. What do people do, right? Rates go up, everybody says, oh, okay, I'm out of here, right? Same thing with housing. Housing goes up, I'm out of here, right? I'm not going to go fight against this. Housing comes down, rates come down, everybody starts calling, and the activity and the phones are ringing. But does everybody want to jump in? I always look at it like this. People are more savvy about this market because they're looking, and not just the market, but just in general in lending, in real estate. They have a computer at home, more at their fingertips than they ever have. So they're watching it. They're watching the media. They're watching what everybody's looking at and going, hey, man, all this data, all this information, and the media controls the narrative. I mean, they really do. And so you see that. I don't know. It's just it's kind of hard, I think, to overcome some of those challenges that people have when they've already thought, okay, this is not the best time to buy.
Well, that's the thing too, right? Everyone feeds off the media. They're glued in front of their television or their phone, and they're looking at the articles in the housing market nationwide. And at the end of the day, people still need housing. We have a national housing shortage, right? So they're continuing to build, right? So again, if you need to purchase a home for your family, you can never time the market perfectly. You can't say now's the time and strike and buy and get all the incentives and all the benefits in different markets. It's either you find a home that you love that's going to accommodate you and your family and your lifestyle. You take advantage of the incentives the best you can, get the interest rates that's available. And if you're going to be in the house for 10, 15, 20 years, which most people aren't, but if you're going to at least 10 years, the interest rate doesn't matter because in 36 months, maybe you want to refi and you can get a lower rate, but you still got a great deal on your house. You have a lot of equity. Then when it's time to move on, you sell it and you go buy something else.
Let's talk about sellers. Let's flip it, and that's a good point that you had. So let's talk about the seller position. You're in the market. You came in just now. Let's say you guys, and I know you got listings. You come in the market, you're listing somebody's home today. And usually if you come in and you're an agent, you're like, hey, I feel that I did comps. We'll list it for what you want because you control the situation. But I know it's not going to, do you have that conversation? Because it's hard probably to go to a seller and say, okay, look we didn't get one offer in a week, 2 weeks. We got to drop your home. And they're like, well, how much? Well, you got to drop it probably $30,000. Is there a number where people are like, dude, I'm not doing that? It's just not, it's not going to happen. Like 10,000, maybe 20. And I got buyers coming in like, hey man, let's offer 50,000 like you guys, $50,000. People coming, no, like, is that really, so talk to me about that. Like,
so
what's that number?
Again, I mean, it's all case by case, right? It depends on if you want to sell or if you need to sell, right? If you want to be aggressive, most sellers will do whatever it takes in order to sell, or they're trying to time the market to say, look, this is the best I'm going to get this year, then let's just go ahead and sell it. But it's case by case. I mean, so going back to the listing that I'm taking this week, we're at 929. The comps say over $1 million. I'm like, it's not going to sell. It's not going to sell for $1 million. So my original price for them was under 900, and they were like, we want to start at 929. I'm like, well, we start chipping away at that block every week, it starts to devalue the home because then people think that something's wrong with it or it's just way overvalued. Mm-hmm. So you have to have that conversation up front, set expectations. But at the end of the day, you're right. It's a seller's decision. And hey, listen, all you can do is provide your advice and the data, and ultimately they have to make the decision. But it's our job to obviously market the property and try to get the highest dollar for them.
What about you?
Yeah, I kind of touched on this earlier. Like I said, you really just have to educate your people up front, let them know what's going on. I mean, I've dealt with a handful of sellers that, wanted a list just to test the market, right? They want to say, you know what? I want to see if I can get 650 when, realistically they can only get 600, right? Last year, you probably could have done that. You probably would have gotten multiple offers, but you can't do that now, right? I mean, and, like I said, we have to tell our people up front, look, this is what we're dealing with. If you need to sell, you need to be able to price your property aggressively so we're not chasing the market. Because if, we're going through that correction, we don't want to be chasing the ball. We want to be priced right on there so we get your home sold. And if we just throw it on the market at some price, I mean, you might not even get any showings, and if you don't get any showings, then, what are you doing? You're kind of just wasting your time. You're spinning your wheels. And then that just kind of goes back to, do you have to sell or do you want to sell?
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. So, like, do you feel like that's happening for a lot of agents out there where they're just listing houses and nothing's happening? Like, nothing's moving at this point? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Like, what's the psychological thing that's going on where even if it's comped, people know that rates are high. Is it sitting on there? Even the ones that are priced out well, are they sitting on the market? Days on the market, is it increasing?
No, I mean, I think people are pricing their homes accordingly. I haven't really seen many homes that are like, you know, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 above the market value for that home. I think everyone's pricing them accordingly. It's just a matter of, you know, there's so many options right now that people have, you know, more time to spend to look at these homes. So before we were spoiled, right? Or listing agents were spoiled. They would list a house. That same day, they would have 5 offers, and the house would be under contract in 24 hours, and it was done.
It was stressful.
Right? Yeah, but think back 2017, 18, 19. I mean, the average day on market is like 25 or 30 days. You know, before you execute a contract and you go through the process. So you're like a 90-day close from listing to sale. So now in this market, we're just coming back to realization, like, oh, wait a second. Homes are supposed to marinate on the market for a little bit.
I mean, that's normal.
On the market for a little bit,
normal, right?
It is. You get the interest. You know, you have to do your showings. Listing agents actually have to work. You know.
It's funny because I'm sitting here listening to you and I hear this squeak. Yeah. You ever see those squeaky beds? I'm like, what does that sound like? Esmeralda, do you know what that sounds like? The squeaky beds. What's going on with your world, Esmeralda?
Anyway,
I wanted to pivot back on that conversation about. You had mentioned about the what was driving the interest rates. So we had actually like the I want to say the co-founder of our company for WFG National Title give an overall why this was happening in the title world, right? So basically what he was saying was that what we were feeling today and what was happening today was really just based on what happened 2 years ago, which was COVID, right? And we're kind of like, it's almost like the repercussion of what happened in that time frame of everything that was, you know, with the housing market, everything executed because.
So you're out there talking, and I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I want you're out there meeting a lot of agents. You're meeting a lot of people in the industry. It's title. Who else do you kind of collaborate with?
Home warranties, a lot of reps for that.
But do you have like anybody that's direct, you know, tied to the MLS and like people that are in like NAREP and making decisions?
Yeah,
Not
we
the
do.
decisions, but so my thing is it just like, hey, everybody in the industry is just like, hey man, we're just gonna let this thing pass?
What do you mean we're gonna let it pass?
Well, like
Elaborate.
I mean, so the market is slowing down. We know that. We can't
Right.
sit there and say it's not. Listings are high. There's only certain people like Joey and like Zach and these guys. Well, it's true. They're out grinding, they're hustling, they're making business. But the average agent out there is suffering, right? I mean,
if he was a listing agent, if you're a buyer's agent right now, you're golden. We are seeing that. We're seeing that they have they got the winning ticket right now. But if you're not, then I'm seeing also the agents, they're jumping into that side, right? The buyer side. Everybody neglected that. They hated being the buyer's agent. And that was a big deal. That was a big thing, especially being entitled, because we always got counted out. Now we're winning. So it's like, yes. Hey, you guys, I love that. Hey, five. No. So we are seeing that. But also what I'm seeing is on the contracts that are coming back, we are seeing that they're buying, they're helping, you know, sellers are contributing to buying the interest rates down, contributing to buy, you know, closing costs. So those things are happening today. But I do want to say something. In my community where I live, there was a house that just sold literally 3 weeks ago. And they still overpaid $10,000 for what the house was offered. And they sold it in that weekend. So in some pockets,
see, it's all case by case. Like the Mesa Ridge, I have under contract. We had a bid. Her house in the neighborhood,
across the street,
10,000 above list price. But in some pockets, like the house I just put under contract today, up in North Las Vegas, you know, we're at 50,000 some odd thousand below list price. You know,
so you just shot something out. You know, shooting for the stars, and it happened to work out.
And it happened. So it's just case by case. But this is the thing too. Like, so like our team, we're primarily like buyers agents, right? And we don't really take a lot of listings. We take listings, but we don't focus on sellers just because we have such an influx of leads coming in through the platform.
Right.
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 But this is like the time that we get excited because we work with these buyers for such a long period of time and try to get them in the mindset of, hey, look, you're purchasing a home. What is it? What are you looking for? And we spend so much time cultivating the relationship and really trying to zero in on what they need for them and their family.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating for us to when, we can't provide them exactly the home that they want, right? For the price that fits their budget. So when we're in a market like this and we have leverage, it's exciting, right? It's because we're winning. We win for them because we're their representation and we can pound the pavement, beat the sellers up, negotiate with the listing agents, and ultimately get the best deals for them. So, I mean, it's really exciting for us. So I don't care what anybody says out there. We're in a downturn, watching the news, and it's doom and gloom. I don't even watch the news. I don't care what it says. All I know is I know what you're asking for your house. I know what my buyer can afford, and I'm gonna get it one way or another, or I'm gonna get damn close to it.
Yeah.
So, it's like you need a winning team. Number one, you got to pick. If you're a buyer out there, you got to pick a winning team. Somebody who's gonna fight for you and have your best interest. The Chuckets Group, that's what we do. We fight for our clients, and I'm just super stoked on the deals that we're getting because we look at these numbers in these communities. And literally, they're paying, $100, maybe $50, $60, $70 to $100,000 more than what we're able to get a resale for, Well, so it's
crazy.
You're winning, dude. You got to feel good about it, I all the talk shows and all that stuff is just so negative, But we come out high-fiving, we get excited, our clients are happy, we're doing good.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, you can kind of elaborate. You got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of hit it on the head, right? I mean, even with sellers, of course, we're working primarily buyers, So, yeah, I am excited. I talked to all my people. I just called all my people last week, and this week I'm still calling everybody up, letting them know about all the opportunities that we have now. But that doesn't mean it's a bad time to sell either, right? I mean, if you need to sell, you can still sell. You can still get top dollar, right? Top dollar now probably isn't what it was 6 months ago, but you're
still getting good.
Oh, right,
money,
you're still
though.
getting good money.
There's still people making a lot of
like
money.
Joey said, yeah, you're still in an equity position. You're not, coming out negative. So I think it's all around again, just all about knowing what's going on. And I feel like not a lot of people. Well, there's a lot of people out there that understand, what type of market that we're in. But as a client, as a buyer, as a seller, you really have to know what's going on.
But you also have to think about this. So we had 10, 11 hedge funds here. We had Open Door, Zillow, OfferPad. You have all the iBuyers here in this market. Not to mention the small flippers and the small hedge funds and these collectives, right? So they're buying all these properties. They're buying on high interest loans, private equity money, and they're buying 10, 15, 20 homes on the small end, right? And then, you have guys that are doing thousands of homes. So when the interest rates started creeping up, what happened? Buyers started pulling back, trying to figure out their affordability. They're sitting all this inventory. So what do? They flood the market with all this inventory, and now they're competing with the average seller who actually needs to sell their home. And what are they doing? They're reducing their list prices just to move their inventory to liquidate into the market. There's no way that the average seller was in the marketplace thinking about selling, that we went from 2,500 or 2,800 homes to 7,500 homes like that. There wasn't enough sellers in this market to do that. It's all the hedge funds that are liquidating their inventory. So what are they doing? They're trying to liquidate, free up their cash, get the tax write-offs, and then come December, January, when it's another slow time, they'll start buying again. After they liquidate all that, they're going to start buying.
So it's a cycle.
They're going to start buying at a lower price point.
And is it because they can also get the rents that they want, basically because it's Las Vegas, right? And people know that Las Vegas is very transient. You're going to have people here that usually don't always set up shop. They don't always stick around. Or they come here and they're working on the strip, or they're starting out and they're just kind of testing the waters. We have a very high amount of people that actually rent. There's a high amount that actually buy a house. But I think that's what hedge funders are also, and just investors in general, are really leaning on that. We're going to have people, we can park our money. We're going to have people still rent it out. And when the time's ready, we'll just sell the house and then wait and then do it again. So is that kind of what you're saying a little bit?
Exactly. So that's what they were doing. They were buying in these communities, and they were controlling the market in subdivisions. So they were controlling the rent, and they were controlling the price. So they were buying 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 homes in that subdivision, setting the price and then setting the rental comps.
Gotcha.
Right? But now that they have so much inventory, they're flooding the market to where you're having, thousands upon thousands of homes hit the market. And like I said, it's price manipulation. So now they're just reducing the price. They're bringing all the prices down in the market. Okay. And then what they're going to start doing is once that's absorbed, January, February, like in the holiday months, they'll start buying again.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions. So I want to bring this up really quick. So first off, Veristar, what's going on, buddy? We love your support. Love you being a part of the show. Actually, I'm meeting with Ver tomorrow. I don't know if you knew this, but meeting with some of his family, and obviously, sure it's going to go back to Big Joey Andron over here. But anyways, we're supposed to meet tomorrow here to talk about getting a loan.
Love it.
So anyways, shout out to Mr. Veristar. Also, Christopher Cochran, what is the average 2,000 square foot home in Las Vegas go for? You want to answer that?
For 2,000 square feet, you're going to be looking somewhere right around 400 to 425,000.
Okay. If you guys have any questions out there too, I know you guys just kind of got into this and started, and there's a lot of people coming in and then they kind of dip and then come back. If you guys have any questions for Joey or for Zach, give us a shout out here. Let us know. We also have another one. Tim Hunold said, recent builds from the last 4 years on the market for more than 30 days are radioactive. So I think what he's saying is that builds from the last 4 years on the market for more than 30 days, are they sitting? Is that what he's saying? I'm not really understanding that.
I don't understand.
That question. Tim, give us a little bit of understanding about what you mean by that. So I'm sorry, but we don't really know what's going on with that. But I think what he's trying to say is that, from my understanding, is that when they're building these houses, they're now sitting. It says from the last 4 years on the market for more than 30 days. Are you seeing that these properties from new homes in general are sitting on the market as well more than 30? Like, are they just, because look, they're once they become move-in ready homes, are they just sitting there? Like, how long does it take for a move-in ready home with all the bells and whistles? They're getting all,
Well, so when they hit the market, the marketplace, and they're advertising them for sale, they could be at different stages throughout the construction process. They could be at frame stage, they can be at cabinet, they can be, with the certificate of occupancy, they can be done. So it just really depends.
Yeah, what he's saying is, this is his question, is what I'm saying is, yeah, some of them are sitting because of pricing, unrealistic seller. Is what he's saying. So selling the house.
That's what I was going to say. Is it the age of the home or is it the price, right? Because I feel like if you price anything appropriately, it'll sell.
Yeah, I mean, so is that like something though, like where you get these sellers and it's because they've been getting what they want for so long, or at least that's been the idea, that it's hard to change the mindset, and so they're sitting on the market. Days on the market's now hitting 30 days, 45 days. I know some of them are for a reason. But
30 days isn't a long time. So when I worked for Woodside Homes, I opened up a community called Skystone, and we had standing inventory that would sit for 120 days, and that was back in 2016.
So why is it that I think it's because, like I said, the market has moved so quick, so fast. Days on the market has been relatively below double digits for the last 6-8 months minimum.
It's like 6 days.
Yeah,
6-7 days.
And that's the thing, right? People you have a misconception of what a market's supposed to be or what it's supposed to look like, right? So we've been spoiled for the past 2 years of people just buying homes, low interest rates, and all of a sudden things move, they shift, and it's like, oh my God, what's happening? It's long on 30 days. What's wrong with this house? Did somebody die in there? Is it like falling apart? Like what's going on with it?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's a regular house. People have options, and it's just going to take a little bit more time to sell.
And you guys wouldn't call the market that we've experienced in the past 2 years a normal market, would you? That was not normal at all.
There's not, what? Vegas doesn't have normal. Like, it's weird. They're just so.
Well, but that wasn't just Vegas. That was everywhere.
Yeah, it was nationwide. If you would see some of these things on these posts on Instagram, like even like in the Southeast, like in the Carolinas and these places, I would look on Instagram, you see people lined up down the street trying to get into an open house. Cars coming in, and you thought it was like a concert. So it's like not just the Vegas market.
Closing on an average was 40 days. 3 years ago.
3 years? Okay.
40 days.
40 days.
40 days was the normal. You were good.
And so it's funny because now I look at 40 days, I'm like, there's got to be a tenant in there. The house is, got leaks. Yeah. Something's going on. Like, why is it not selling? Nobody's getting in there. It's just there's a hoarder living inside the house. You know what I mean?
Well, like we were talking about.
So 30 days is really good.
Yeah,
it's
no,
really
like we were just talking about with rates. Like we were spoiled with the, high twos, low threes. And, everyone just got used to that the past 2 years. So everyone got used to everything, how long things were sitting on the market, the 6-7 days. So now that we're back to, I guess you can say reality.
6-7 days are only if there were cash deals, right? So
Well, no, actually, we were getting multiple offers on, I had a listing, when was this? Like October of last year. And we got all types of offers the first, second day. So I think day number 3 we went under contract. It was conventional.
Oh, okay,
so it wasn't just cash. I don't mean list to close. I just mean,
Get it
on the market for
Right.
that amount of time and then, officially under contract.
So I want to bring this up really quick. We also have another question here that I have, and let me move this real quick, Joey. I just want to answer this question. I'll give it right back to you. So there's a little thing here. So Cyrus said that how does the current political climate of inflation affects the seller of resale and or new build homes? You guys get that question? Say it again. How does the current political climate of inflation affect the selling of resale and or new homes? So I don't know if it's the political climate. I don't think that's really going to affect anything. I think it all comes down to consumer confidence. And I think if you have confidence in any market, you're going to buy. Also, too, though, I also think that when you look at inflation, absolutely people are going to look at inflation and make a decision on buying a house. If they can't afford certain things on buying a house, like as far as, okay, I got my mortgage payment, the higher rate, if the cost of living is going up, and all of these things that you have to take in consideration, including, hey man, do I have an HOA payment? These things start to build, right? And so I do feel that in today's market, I don't know so much about the political side of it, but I feel that the inflation side of it is definitely an impact, right? We don't really get into politics on this show too much, just because it's such a divisive tool, right, of things. Right. It really is. Everybody's entitled to what they want, but I think when you look at the position of where the market is at, if you have consumer confidence out there and you got people knowing that they're going to have a job and knowing they can sustain payments, and I know that the cost of living, you need to usually average American household needs 2 incomes, right, to survive. I think that that's going to play a huge part on the inflation side of it. And I think that's another part that we didn't bring up. And that's a great topic here, Cyrus, on why people are not really buying into this market. It's a blend. Yes, it is higher rates. And yes, it's, higher costs of prices of homes we've never seen before. But it's also, too, that we're at 8%. We're at 9% inflation, probably higher than that. Your cost of living, dude, you go out and you go buy things, and you talked about it. I went out and bought a thing of eggs, right? Mm-hmm. And we talked about this, and I'm like, you got to get those pasture eggs, right? $10.
Yeah, they just went up again.
I'm sitting here going, who pays $10 for eggs?
Me.
This guy.
Everybody.
Right?
Everyone that buys eggs.
Right? It's like what happened? But again, you don't have to buy those eggs. But if you want to buy into, I want to be healthy, right? And I want, so again, these things we see that we think and take for granted, right? These are things you have to consider in this market. You can't just say, well, I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to try to swing for the fences. I think that's another reason why they're retracting, is that this inflation number. And look, we see it coming down, but until we see, gas is still higher than what it normally is. Mm-hmm. People just need it to level off, and they need to adapt, and they need to build that confidence back. That I don't think a lot of people like change, especially when it comes to economy or economics and money. When they're dealing with their money, they want to know, hey, I can count on this. I can count on this payment. That's one of the benefits of having a mortgage. But when you put that with a higher rate, your cost of, the average home, if it's a $500,000 home and you got a, $3,000 mortgage, and then you have all these other costs, it just pushes people away. What do you think about that, Zach?
Yeah, I agree. Again, like I mentioned earlier, it's, case by case. What's your position, right? If you're getting hit hard by that, then of course, maybe it's going to be a lot harder for you to go ahead and, think about going and purchasing a home. But for others, I think everybody, we could all say that everyone's feeling the effect of inflation, some more than others. But for those that aren't getting hit as hard, that still need a place to live, or are still looking to, purchase because they're renting, that's a different conversation, right?
Joey's got something here he wants to bring up, so let me go ahead and bring this browser over here. So go ahead, Joey, talk to us. What's going on, buddy?
All right, so talking about how this is affecting people with cash and purchasing homes. So here we go. So in the past 30 days for a residential home, priced between 400,000 and 700,000.
Right.
There were 298 that closed cash,
Wow.
all cash, right?
Uh-huh.
Now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go to conventional. Conventional, and we have 600 homes, 597.
Wow.
In the past 30 days, between 400,000 and 700,000. So people are still figuring it out and making moves. I mean, because that's a huge, huge ratio.
Okay, so I think it's like this. I think you're absolutely. It's the market has not stopped here.
No.
I think we all can agree to that, right? We still see movement. It's definitely not the pace we saw. The activity level's down, but it's still moving.
Sure.
And you're going to still find sectors and pockets of people out there, investors and just people that want to buy a home. The upper middle class people, it's probably not going to affect them as much. And they're still going to go all in on buying a home, especially now that the market's come down and I think things have settled. But I think when you look at this does say that, you know what, Las Vegas, some sectors of Las Vegas is still moving. Right. Yeah. What else, Joey?
I mean, I think that's fantastic. I mean, if you look at the numbers, I think they're pretty staggering, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone, the whole media just says doom and gloom when you have 300 homes between 400,000, 700,000 closed all cash, and 600 closed conventional loan. It's pretty staggering. People are moving their money and they're putting their money into real estate, and you can see people are taking advantage of the opportunities, right? So I just want to look at this. I haven't looked at this yet, but this is between $1 million and $4 million sold in the last 30 days. You have 37 that closed with conventional. I want to see cash. 36.
Wow.
So it's basically even from cash to conventional, from $1 million. So $1 million to $4 million.
We also have a question. I want to bring this up. So Beth is a past client of yours, and so she has a question, and I love. Beth, I want to give you a shout out for always thinking and being a part of this show. But I want to bring this up here. And what I want to bring up is she said, are most of the buyers still coming from out of state? I mean, can you guys attest that they're mostly coming out of state? Is that primarily what your buyers are?
Yeah.
Where are they coming from? Like what? Everybody always thinks it's California. I mean, is it still California?
It's still California.
It's all California.
It's all California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's the Golden State. Is that the same for you?
I wouldn't say all California. Pretty good amount, but I mean.
So where are other people moving from? Like if it's not California, okay, and let's say, is it Washington? Is it East Coast? Like I can't say like it's Idaho, right?
No, I got people from Michigan, from like Seattle. I got a couple clients from Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah. Chicago.
So, I mean, I think when you look at this market and you still see,
I do have people from here, like a good handful of people that live here too that are. So I don't know.
Really?
I think it's case by case.
So you have people from Las Vegas actually trying to buy a house in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
That's a rarity. I mean, you guys, do you ever deal with people that want to buy here and live here at the same time? Really?
Yeah. Well,
Buy here and live here.
The listing that I have, and I just sold them a house. So so that's one, and then I have the other one that just purchased the model home. So.
Wow, I tell you what, man, it's very rare that you find somebody that wants to move up. It's like it seems like once people get stuck, they'll refi, right? But they're not going to go upsize. I mean, if they got to downsize, but it's very rare you see somebody in Las Vegas that wants to say, because typically what happens in Las Vegas, you got the rates at mid 2s, 3%. There's no reason to move. Prices of homes gone up, so they probably bought it at a good time. They're sitting on $300,000 equity. So it's always these out-of-state buyers, I think, because they're moving from having that rich equity, but they want to reposition. California, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
but
no-brainer.
Chicago, maybe it's a no-brainer there too. But I just feel that you really have to, like California is so close. Chicago, they got to really make that transition. East Coast, they really got to make that transition.
But most people that are coming from that side, they're ready for it. They don't want the cold winters.
Yeah.
They're like, we're done.
So what brings you to Las Vegas? Oh, we're trying to get away from the winters, man. That's always the answer. It's funny.
Do you guys ever take people out in your car still? Like, I mean, were you like in the back and you got to play like the driver, chauffeur, and you got to like, it's almost like you're at Uber. You got to like kind of entertain, but then you don't do that?
No.
I do sometimes.
You do that?
Sometimes.
Wow, really? So strike me, like what is some of the conversations that happens? I mean, these people are like, Zach, where are you from? Like, what happens?
Where are you from? I wonder where. Las Vegas, maybe? I don't know.
Did you grow up here, Zach? Like, what's going on?
I'm
Like,
kidding.
do you go out to the club, Zach? Do you go out to the library, Zach?
I mean, you know me. I don't think the small talk's like too big of a
Zach's
an
like
issue
this.
for me.
He's like, yeah. Where do you guys want to go?
All right, we're done here.
Yeah,
no,
right.
I don't know. Everybody's different in their own way. I mean, most people, you know, I'm meeting them at the property and we're just driving back and forth. But there's been a handful of people that are. I actually had to pick some people up from the airport and drive them around, take them back to their hotel, and it was interesting. But for the most part, I'm kind of thankful to have cool clients, and you know, it's never weird or awkward. I hate that awkward silence when you're in the car, like, so how's the weather today?
Oh yeah.
You know? I hate that.
It's usually an age gap too. Like it's not like if you're like really different. Like if I'm in your 20s and you got somebody in your 60s, right? That's kind of how do you get that commonality? I think I could be a chameleon, but I think you could do it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
What's the icebreaker?
I don't know.
Where you
Dude,
from?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there's like a specific like.
Do you say like, "Hey man, you're a baby boomer, right?" And is that the start? Are you booming
Oh,
today?
that's
or-
when you graduated college. That's when I was born. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
But like, I mean, it's probably a different conversation than you're having with somebody that's in their 30s buying
Well,
their
of
first
course.
house, right? I mean, you got an investor or say somebody that's bought 6 or 7 homes. They're probably just like, dude, just get me there, right? I already know what I'm looking for.
It's just different. I mean, you're just talking to a person at the end of the day. You know, you're just getting to know who they are, just building that rapport. So I don't look at it any different if it was my friend or somebody that was, twice my age.
Would you drop them off at the curb if they started disrespecting? I just want to know. Like,
Oh no, two can play that game. I'm like, what's up? What's going on? No, I'm kidding.
What about you, Joey? What do you deal with, man? You don't take people out. So what is the average
I
person?
mean, I do occasionally. If like Zach said, if they come in from the airport and we're going out for the day or 2 days, whatever, staying at one of the hotels.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
So meeting them at a hotel, going in there and having cocktails or whatever.
No, just pick them up in the valet, jump in the car, and just get right to it.
down the
Yeah.
road.
Oh, I completely forgot. Yeah, my clients, it's so funny. I was driving them around, like they drove from California. We just closed on a property, what was it, like 2-3 weeks ago? And they came into town, I think like 3 times. So they would drive to their hotel, but then ask me to pick them up, drive them around. So, I mean, I was used to that, but they loved me. We ended up going out to dinner. They took me to Benihana. So
Nice.
that was cool. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I don't look at it as,
Dude,
it's a
you just
tour.
never know who you're going to
just-
meet. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. So when I first moved out here, I was going to college and I was trying to do my thing, right? And I was working on the strip and I was, doing my thing, going out and hanging out. And I was so cool with this table, right? And this table was like, dude, you just got this cool vibe. And I'm like, I know. Joey's probably like, where'd that go,
I know.
right? But anyways, so, dude, I was sitting there talking to them, and they're like, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, well, I don't know, man. I don't really have any plans. This is like a Saturday night. He goes, we got an extra ticket to go to the UFC fight. Oh. And I'm like, what? I was like, I'm going. Let's go. Dude, they had like a limo. They picked me up.
Nice.
They fed me. Dude, and I don't even know these people. They went up to the room, and they were like, dude, it was the craziest, best night, all because of my personality that night was just like what they wanted, And I'm like, dude, I'm
What
so
happened?
glad I was happy that day because if I was upset, I wouldn't have seen it. It was the time when what is his name?
Sean O'Malley.
No, Rashad Evans got knocked out by Lyoto Machida. Dude, he got knocked. I was like, dude, we were 5 seats back.
No kidding.
I swear, and I was like, I was watching it, and all of a sudden I heard this cluck. I thought somebody's bone broke because his head hit. So I was just like, wow. I'm not joking. It was just like clock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Clack. And I was just all
He
of a sudden
probably did break his bone.
and you just saw his boom, dude. It was just like, wow, that just happened. Like it was crazy, but you just never know who you're gonna meet. I guess that's the moral of this story.
See, that's
Just-
why I
just
don't
be
mind.
cool.
Yeah, I don't mind the small talk. That's why you don't know who you're gonna meet. I love talking to people, so it's whatever. I don't look at it as a bad thing.
You guys, we got to end the show, but I want to say this. So I want to say thank you all coming on. Joey, first off, you're a real estate agent. You can pitch yourself or whatever you want to do. I don't know. What do you want to?
Well, if you're looking to purchase a home here in Las Vegas, you want more information, give me a call, 305-608-3543. Check me out on YouTube, Joey Andron and the Chuckets Group.
Yeah, also subscribe to his stuff, man. He's a great agent. And what I want to say is, so when you're out there and you're like pitching yourself and you're promoting,
Sorry.
that's all right. That was the biggest sniff.
That's my bad.
So I was like,
Oh, I thought it was done on purpose. I was like, oh, okay.
I got scared for a second. I was like, what was that? No, but I mean, I think people want to know, like, agents are out there, and you know how long you've been in the game, and your company's Simply Vegas.
Simply
right?
Vegas. Yeah, I've been doing this for 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where were you originally from? Because I think a lot of people know who you are, but if they're just first time watchers, where'd you come from?
So originally from South Florida. I living in Miami for the majority of my adult life. Worked in real estate there. Flipped plenty of properties out there. Worked on luxury condominium buildings out there. The Viceroy in South Beach, Brickell Station Villas, all the stuff that happened in the Brickell and South Beach area. And did a lot of residential stuff, single family homes. So,
Zach, what about you, buddy? What do you got to say about all this besides sniffing?
Oh yeah, I apologize for the.
Zach was doing a line over here before.
Oh gosh. I apologize for the abrupt noise. But yeah, what was your question again? Anything to add?
tell us about you.
Tell us about
Tim
me.
says it's taco time. He says time to get up and do the great work. He said it's taco time. Hey man, that's it though. So like, how long you been in the game? You work for Simply Vegas, right? So just talk a little bit about you and your background and growing. You went to UNLV, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been in the business since 2015. So summer of 2015, 7 years. I don't know if you can tell, but I got some gray hair growing in already.
Yeah, right.
I'm seasoned.
Yeah, that's just like me saying I have hair.
I get the from Walmart, the touch of gray. It's just to show everyone that I'm seasoned.
Yeah, right.
kidding.
Do you really got gray? You have gray hair?
No, I was
I
joking.
was like,
It was a
no
joke.
way, dude. You don't got a wrinkle on that face.
I know. I got baby face, baby cheeks. But yeah, I went to UNLV. And then, yeah, I mean, I kind of just carried this thing out, and here I am 7 years later.
Well, that's it. Esmeralda, do you have anything else to say to this, Esmeralda? Like,
Hey,
what
if you're
cherry on
looking
the
to
top?
buy, we have a set of agents. That's what I got to say.
Damn.
Thank you.
And you got the connections. Just say, and I got the connection.
And I got the connection.
I see it. I knew that was happening. Right
It's the all-star group over here.
All right. Well, you guys got anything else to say about this market? Anything?
Buy.
Sell.
Hasta luego.
I was waiting for you to go. I was like, am I supposed to say something?
Yeah, sell.
Yeah, sell. Bye.
Esmeralda, what do you got to say about this?
Hasta luego. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, guys, this is the end of the show. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel, like the channel, and we'll see you guys on Saturday. Great update. Thank you guys all for coming. Subscribe. See you guys.
Peace.
Thank you for watching the French Workbench Podcast. You can find us here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. to find out all the information on real estate and financing here in Las Vegas. Also, check us out on our LV Home Professionals website. You can find your future home there, a lot of good information, and you can find us on audio.